Good morning. It's good to see you today. I hope you're doing well. Our reading today is going to come from Luke chapter 13. We're going to talk about the parable of the fig tree. Luke 13 verse 6. The Lord speaks this parable. A certain man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came seeking fruit on it and found none. Then he said to the keeper of his vineyard, Look, for 3 years I have come seeking fruit on this fig tree and find none. Cut it down. Why does it use up the ground? But he answered and said to him, Sir, let it alone this year also, until I dig around it and fertilize it, and if it bears fruit, well, but if not, after that you can cut it down. What the Lord is talking about specifically, I would suggest, are the Jews. But I want you to just think about the parable. As he says, dig around it. And you might think about the idea that there are different ways to dig and there are different reasons to dig. Maybe the dirt is hard, that it's become hardened, and you have to get in and you have to dig it up. You have to dig it up so that the water can get down to the roots of the plant. Sometimes we become hard-hearted and hard-headed, right? Sometimes there are things in our life, the cares of this world, and we have to dig. We have to dig up around the tree so that the good, the food, we'll put it like that. The man says, let me fertilize it, and we'll talk about that in a second. The nutrients have to get down to the roots. And if the nutrients aren't getting down to the roots, then the plant is going to die. And we're talking spiritually. But maybe there's things, if there's rocks in the soil, right? If there's rocks in the soil, you don't leave those rocks there. They need to come out, right? Some things do not belong in our lives. So you have to dig around and you have to dig those rocks out. And it is up to us. The man, we understand, the man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, but it is the keeper of the vineyard. It is his responsibility. You decide what's in your heart. You decide what sort of heart you have. It is up to you. The Lord does not do that for us. It's up to you what sort of soil you have. It's up to you. It's your responsibility. What sort of heart do you have? Do you need to dig around in it? But he also says, fertilize it. He says dung it, right? So along with looking at the soil, you have to be thinking about, are you feeding the roots? Are you feeding the plant? Because it could be the best soil. It could be the best soil in the world, but if you don't feed it, if you don't water it, if you don't fertilize it, that soil is going to be absolutely worthless in the long run, right? We've planted the seed, but you have to water it, you have to dung it. But also there's something to be said about patience. As the man says, let it alone this year also, until I dig around it and dung it, right? These things, they don't happen overnight. The man, he says, I've come looking for 3 years. Right? These things don't happen overnight. They take time. There's something to be said about being patient. Consider the farmer, how he waits for the early and the latter rains. Right? You have to be patient. But in the long run, we understand the Lord of harvest, he's looking for one thing. He's looking for fruit. And if he doesn't find any fruit, if we don't bear fruit for the Lord of harvest, then you might as well cut the tree down. Hope you think about these things on your own, study them, and thank you for studying with us today. Hope you have a good day. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow morning.